What is going on, everyone? Today we're back here at Astoria Park along the East River. It's still cold, it's still winter, and today we're going to attempt to collect 1 pound of sea glass for every subscriber I have. Please, Don. No clams. I broke off the leg of my 24 pounds. Oh yeah, this little guy got glue all over my. Subscribe to my only glass. We went from this to this to. As the filming of this video, which is January 25th, I don't know if you could see it, but I have 18 subscribers. So the goal is going to be to collect 18 pounds today and then see what we could do with it later on. Now, in all honesty, we don't have a scale with us here. I don't even have one of those like hanging scales. It wasn't going to be here in time for this video. But what we're going to do is just going to try and fill up 2 of these reusable shopping bags, or as much of it as we can, and then we're gonna get it cleaned, sorted, and see what comes of it. So before we get started, it's 31 degrees, feels like 20. Down by the water, it's always a lot colder, but that's all right. We're still out here trying to make a difference each time. Let's get started. It's not as simple as it looks or may seem, because it is completely mixed in with rocks, and we're trying to leave as many of those as possible. We're more than likely gonna have some with us, but I'm hoping after I clean and sort everything and separate it, that I'll be able to just bring a bag of the rocks back and put them where they came from. But the goal is to take as much glass as possible. I broke off the leg of my tripod setting this up, unfortunately. I tried to push it into the sand like an idiot, but that's all right. It is what it is. Leave a comment down below if you have any ideas or thoughts on how we could better do this instead of picking up by hands. I have these gloves on. She has a lot thinner gloves, so it's a little bit easier to pick up, but I'm having trouble sorting it as I'm picking it up and like separating it. So leave a comment down below if you have any ideas on something we could build or do to maybe do this in the future, but do it a little bit smarter. This is what we got so far. And the bag is starting to get actually a little pretty heavy. So my dog that you might have seen in other videos weighs roughly 14 pounds. And we're guessing that this bag right now is at about 11 or 12. We're hoping. But we're gonna go the extra step and take a little bit more, so that we're sure we're past the 18-pound mark when the time comes. Where? Oh, cool. That narrows it down. He went.
Never found.
Wow, yeah, the currents here are ridiculous, so I could imagine.
I probably ended up on the Verzano.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
But no clams.
No clams, no clams.
Yeah, we gotta go to Long Island.
Exactly.
Have a nice one.
You too, sir. That gentleman you just heard me talking to is a very nice guy. He frequents this area with his dog. He's been around a while and he knows a lot about this area, so anytime I get a chance to talk to him or hear one of his stories, I always take the opportunity. Really, really nice guy. And you might remember his voice from one of the last videos we did. At the end of the video, the little extra bonus footage was me having a conversation with that man and talking about how we should do better and keep this place clean. Don, I don't know who you are, but please, Don, pick up your glass. Don't leave your trash behind. All right. Now, I think we did it. I'm not sure yet because the pieces are all different shapes and sizes, but this is where we ended up so far. But yeah, like I said, we could always come back if we need to get more, and we will if need be. But for now, I think it's a good place to end. Next time I see you, it'll be back at the house. All right, we're back in the house. We're a lot warmer than we were before. We're done collecting the sea glass, but I told you if you stuck around, we were gonna put this together and make something nice out of it, right? So what we're going to do first is I actually wanna make sure that we did get enough glass. And to do that, I just have like a regular scale right here. I'm gonna put the bag that you saw in the video before on the scale, And then hopefully we do have the right amount. Let's take a look. Okay, never mind. The scale is dead. Gotta get some batteries. Check it out, guys. 24 pounds. 24 pounds of glass. I hope you could see that. We got 6 more pounds than we actually needed, which I'm really happy about, and it made it all worth it because, yeah, 18 pounds is nice, but it's always good to do a little bit extra since you're already out there anyways. We're here in the bathroom. I know it's a little weird, but I'm gonna use my tub to wash all this glass, and I apologize ahead of time for the horrific sounds that might come out of this because I'm pouring it right into the tub. So let's see what happens. Oh God, I don't know what I'm doing. Guys, subscribe to my Only Glass. What a nightmare. I don't know what I was thinking doing this. Ah. All right, we're starting over. I poured all the glass back in the tub, and what we're gonna do this time is fill up the tub with some really, really hot water, just to like cover it. Maybe I'll add a little soap, and then I'm gonna just stir it, and then hopefully we can clean off more of it than before, because that was a joke before. I don't recommend anyone does any of the things that I do, because they're usually pretty stupid. But we're gonna try and use this strainer to clean it out, and let's see. Should see me with a wok. Uncle Roger who? All right, we're here in the workshop now, and what we're gonna do is put that sea glass that we collected to good use. I told you we were gonna make something with it, and I'm gonna keep my promise. Now, for those of you who are just scrolling through the video pretty quickly, jumping ahead in the timeline, that's okay, I get it. But if you did, just as a reminder, we did collect 24 pounds of glass. The goal was to collect 1 pound for every subscriber at the time of filming this, and at the time, and I still do, have 18 subscribers. But it's okay, we got a little bit extra, we got more to work with, more to sort, and what we're gonna do today is we're going to use the glass that we collected, some of this E6000 glue, and this piece of plexiglass. This is gonna suck really, really bad. This piece of plexiglass was just something old that I had lying around in the basement, and it has this protective layer on both sides, and because of how old it is ripping off in tiny pieces, so not so satisfying, sorry. It's not gonna work by just me peeling it with my hands. I'm gonna use the heat gun, see if that helps me loosen up the glue a little bit while I'm peeling it. Hopefully it does, so we can speed this up a little bit. As always, we are continuing to have terrible starts, but that's okay. It's only terrible if you let it be. We're gonna figure it out. No problems, only solutions here. I don't know if you could see that. It's barely coming off. I gotta be careful here. I already burnt the paper a little bit. This is my first time using this heat gun. I literally opened it for this. I'm gonna Google, see if there's a better way. Going on YouTube for a little help. All right, so according to YouTube University, I have to be more patient and apply heat for longer, work in a warmer area, soak in warm soapy water, or place it in an oven. But I don't have an oven this size. I can't submerge this entire thing in warm soapy water. It's too big. So my only options right now are keep using the heat gun, applying as much heat as possible for a little bit longer using this scraper. And the other option that they said was if you can get a corner off and get some kind of rod to roll it evenly, that you'd have a better chance. But the problem is I think where it's been stored in the workshop here is a little bit cold. I only have a little tiny space heater, there's no insulation or anything, so it is pretty cold in here. We're gonna apply some heat for a little while longer, see how much we got, or how much we get, I should say. That seemed to work a lot better. Still a very, very slow process. So yeah, I'm gonna speed this all up because I wanna show you I did it, but you don't need to be watching all this. This is craziness. All right, check back soon. What do you got to say to everyone? All right. You heard it here, folks. We got it. Finally. So that's great news. Now the bad news is I have to do it again on the other side. But we learned a little bit on how to do it, and might be able to do it a lot quicker on the next one. I don't know if I'm gonna record it or not. Probably not. I don't think you need to see me going crazy peeling something again. Yesterday did not go as planned. Anything that could have went wrong did. But the good news is the second side of this plexiglass you previously saw me struggling with was a lot easier to get off than the first side. I used the heat gun the entire time. I did it really, really slowly, and I think because I was warming up the other side to begin with, it came off a lot easier. Like I said before, anything that could have went wrong did, and one of those things was burning myself. On what, you might ask? Oh yeah, right there. Let's get started. This is a little bit more of an undertaking than I thought it would be, so I ended up getting a little bit of help. We're gonna start sorting it now, just to have it ready, see what we can do with it, and then maybe by it being sorted into shape, size, color, whatever the case may be, the picture will start becoming a little bit clearer on how we're actually gonna do this. We're both starting piles of the different colors, this way that when we do lay this plexiglass down, we got balance of materials on both sides of the project so that we can figure out what we're doing, kind of more easily sort out pieces like this, two pieces like this, two pieces like this. We're getting there. I'm gonna go ahead and say that we got the most clear, then brown, then green to work with, okay? And then we had some pieces that are messed up that we couldn't get cleaned and probably haven't been out there all that long, to be honest. I'm not sure if we're gonna use these yet, but we did find a couple cool things that also shouldn't be there, like these little tiles, look like from someone's bathroom. This little guy. Don't worry, we checked. There's nothing in there. One singular piece of red glass. Got to use that somehow. And one tiny blue piece of glass. What I want to do is basically just rough sketch my idea And the first idea that came to mind is doing the channel logo that you see in the profile picture. But then I realized that I can't draw. And I also realized that if I can't draw, I'm never going to be able to draw a perfect circle. And this plexiglass is on the bigger side. So I need to come up with a way to have a stencil to make that circle for my logo. So I think I'm going to take the wheel off of the front of the bike. I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to try and trace it like a circle. And then take it from there. I think the inside of the logo I'll be able to do by hand rather than with a stencil or something like that. By the way, leave a comment down below if you have any ideas on what you might use the sea glass for in your own projects. If you decide to get involved and do your own project, share a link to it, share a picture, whatever you got to do. We want to hear about it. We want to see it. The more people that get involved, the more glass is removed from the beaches. And that's a great thing. We got the wheel off. And we're going to use that as our stencil. I got a tape measure, dry erase marker. I'm going to measure this thing out to try and find center. We're going to have to trace like this. But I'm assuming if it stays on center, it should be the same shape and size all the way around. I don't know. But we'll find out, right? So I did my best to get it on center. I'm going to put the wheel on center now, or what we assume is center or think is center. And we're going to try and trace this out. And then if you take a look at the channel, there's some curved lines and such that we got to play with. One problem at a time. We'll get there. So for those of you who might have missed it, decided to grab my bicycle wheel, and we're going to use that as the stencil to trace out my logo, like the channel logo. Still got the little bit left of my trace from the other day. Oh, update on the heat gun injury that I suffered. That's what it looks like now. Kind of looks like a ship's wheel if you ask me. All right. Not bad. I'll bring it in a little closer so you can see it. That's pretty good. Check that out. I'm gonna pull up a picture of my logo. If you can't really see it from what I'm about to show you, just go on my channel, take a look. While you're there, maybe consider subscribing. But right there is the logo that we're going to use. And I'm gonna try and freehand draw the lines in the center now, and then we'll get to gluing and see what we could do and what we come up with this glass. So I'm only good at drawing circles apparently with bike tires. I'm gonna have a little help doing the more finer details. So we came up with a little plan that we're gonna attempt. And what we're gonna do is make dots to represent the endpoints of each wave that's in the logo, and then kind of work back from there. We can't agree on something right now. So we're gonna have a little competition. Okay? We're using our initials to represent who's who. Based on the logo, she believes that it ends here.
Yep.
I believe that it ends here. So when we trace this out, we're going to see who's closest. We're going to expand on the dots idea further. We're going to make the other dots that need to be, and then we're just going to attempt to connect the dots. Let's see what happens. We're going to save the little competition line for last, because we think if we can get the top line and the bottom line done correctly first, that we should be able to more easily, hopefully, fill in the difference in the center. She's gonna take a crack at the first line. Yeah,
Yeah?
that's better, because it's like,
Oh, you're right. Okay.
it takes a dive. Looks pretty terrible to me, but I am happy to report. Let's go. I think that's what we're going with. We are up to the stage where we actually start putting down some glass and start gluing it and making this thing permanent. So I think what we're going to do is use some of this clear glass to fill in the actual logo that we just spent all that time tracing out. And then we'll figure out the rest after. But I think if we can get that going first, we have something good to work around, and we'll take it from there. Our supposed helper is not doing a great job at helping. Something did go right and we found pretty perfect pieces to get started on the points. So we went ahead and glued those down. So this is where we're at so far. Starting to come together. Kind of start seeing things taking shape. The clear glass is a little bit hard to see, but I'm hoping with the contrast we'll get a nice pop and you'll be able to see it when it's all said and done. This is just taking a lot longer than I thought it would. I can't believe we're saying this, but we're back. We're still working on this sign. I was thinking a lot about it last night. I'm not going to be as deliberate with the pieces. Trying to jigsaw puzzle this is a little crazy with all the misshapen glass. So I'm going to choose the best for that location and kind of flow with it, and then I'll go back after for touch-ups and fill in with some of these little pieces of glass. We have a little bit of a problem. The tube started coming out of the side, so that's fun. All right, so I'm realizing that I have to finish one section at a time. I can't keep thinking like, oh, this fits better over here or this fits better over here. I have to just finish one section first because it flows a little bit better that way. And things just seem to be lining up slightly better. Knock on wood. Got glue all over my hands. It looks and it feels awful. But wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. It is coming out pretty good. So I basically got most of the logo done. I just got to fill in this area now. Little update on the hand. You'll notice me going from side to side for different pieces of glass. I feel like if you stare at a pile for too long, you're just making it up as you go. You're not really finding what you need. So I find that if I switch piles, I see the piece a little bit quicker on what I need. I don't know, I could just be making that up, telling myself that. All right, the logo's done, let's go. Now what we're gonna do is just use the rest of the glass, or as much of it as we can, to fill in the difference and the gaps. Pretty happy with how it's coming out so far. At first I was struggling to see it myself, and it is my idea, but seeing it now, and like how far I've gotten so far, or how far we've gotten, it's pretty awesome. It just motivated me a little bit more to keep going, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do now before I continue gluing, I wanted to kind of get my borders down and kind of shape it a little bit better. I had a lot of extra plexiglass on the sides that I didn't think made sense for just doing the logo. Kind of want to keep it a little bit smaller. It's already gonna be heavy as it is. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually scoring the plexiglass so that I can cut off the excess. That's what Google told me is the best way to do it. I'm not the kind of person that has tools for everything. I kind of just make do with what I have. So I don't have a ruler long enough to make a straight line on this thing. So what I do have though is this spare cabinet to extend the workbench. And I have this thing. Shout out Matthew. This is a rail to practice snowboarding on. It's gonna be my ruler today. So I'm just gonna line it up with the edge of the plexiglass. And that's me being optimistic that the people who cut it originally cut it straight. But that's what we're going with. Guys, if you don't wanna spend the money on a ruler or anything like that, just get yourself one of these. It works just the same. I mean, I don't know how long anything is, but it works as a straight line. So now, according to Google, we need to take a really sharp razor and begin scoring that line that we just traced. Okay? So I'm just gonna make the first one very slowly. Do my best to follow that line. At this point, and for any of my returning viewers, you should know by now to not do anything that I do at home. I don't recommend it, advise it. I just do it the way that I could do it to get it done, which is probably the wrong way, and all the craftsmen out there, my bad. So now I'm just gonna keep scoring this line that I made over and over and over again till it's somewhat deep enough. What's really cool is when you lose the line that you did because you rubbed it off with your hand like an idiot. So now I got a couple of lines, but this one up here was the one that I knew worked well. So I'm just gonna continue off of this one and try and straighten things out a little bit. Now what I'm gonna do is just keep pressure on one side to protect the stuff that I already worked on, and I'm gonna hit it. And just like that, the first piece falls off. All right, not bad. Not bad, we were able to get the excess off. Now don't worry, we're all about reusing here. So these pieces of plexiglass I'm gonna save and use them for a later project down the road. And if there's any excess glass that I don't finish, I'll do the same with. I got other ideas for the future, but you know, for now, this was the first attempt, which is usually the case. When I'm talking to you guys, it's usually the first time I'm doing something. Just like learning how to cut plexiglass and actually work with it. We ran out of glue, like you might have seen earlier. I only have very little left of that E6000, so we ended up getting a little bit extra. We're gonna be using this stuff. On the package, it says, use like E6000. So that's what we're gonna do. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think we did it. We went from this to this to this. What an absolutely ridiculous undertaking this has been. It came out good. I'm happy with the results. And I'm gonna show you a couple shots of it now so you can see what it looks like. So we finally did it. I'm gonna put a timer on the screen at some point, I think, to calculate all the hours that this project took from start to finish, all the way from headed to the beach to start collecting the glass, down to the final product, which you see here. It was a lot. It took a lot of effort. I definitely needed the help. And man, I just can't believe we actually did it. But I hope everyone here takes away something from this. Just because it ends up on a beach or ends up in the water doesn't mean that it should stay there. And it also doesn't mean that it's the end of its life. Many, many things can be reused, recycled, repurposed. And I've proven that here today by collecting 1 pound of glass for every subscriber that I currently had, and then some, and turning it in, you know what? I'm gonna say it, art. Turning it into art. Look at that. I made art. Now, obviously, as you could tell from this shot right here, I do have some leftover glass available, and I'm not throwing it out. I'm gonna throw it into this bucket over here, and I'm gonna save it, along with those pieces of plexiglass that I broke up and broke off of here earlier. They're gonna be useful down the road for another project. If you have any other ideas for projects or art that you might wanna see with this leftover glass, let me know. If you enjoyed this type of content, consider subscribing down below. And as always, remember, together we can make a difference, one swell at a time. On today's episode of another dumb idea by me that could actually be something nice, in my head I thought this would be a lot easier.
How you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Find any messages in a bottle?
Not yet, I'm hoping to find one soon though. Yeah.
Never know.
You never know, you do find some crazy things down here.
No.
I found a couple wild things the last couple times of being here, so I could imagine something might be coming.
Well, it keeps it interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, stay cool.
Thanks, you too, have a great day. And that's why we do it, folks. For the nice interactions with nice people who also care. I got a pretty cool idea on a little project that I could do with all this glass. And I can't tell you about it because the Amtrak is passing overhead. Oh my God. Who the hell is gonna compare a bag of glass to a baby they don't know?
The only little sliver of blue glass that I've seen so far. The only other colors that are here are really clear, whitish, green, and brown. So this is a pretty cool find. I was really hoping to see more blue glass, but I know it's very uncommon.
Width-wise, we have 40 inches. So center of that would be 20. It's all right. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Keep telling yourself that. We're gonna get through this.